Hi, my name is Roya, and welcome to my Booktube channel. Today we're kicking off Booktube by doing the A to Z Bookish survey. Author you've read the most books by? Probably either Stephen King or Raymond Chandler. I didn't really want to count how many books I read by each of them. B. Best sequel ever is World Without End by Ken Follett. That's the sequel to Pillars of the Earth. C. Currently reading Stephen Baxter's Evolution. This is a pretty good book. It's about it starts off talking about the dinosaurs and then just goes on all the way to the future, but I haven't gotten there yet because I'm not even halfway through. D. Drink of choice while reading is tea. I've got my tea right here. E-reader or physical book? I'm gonna go with physical book for no other reason than my Kindle broke recently, and that is a huge bummer. So I fix it. F. Fictional character you probably would have dated in high school. Amanda from The Year of the Flood. G. Glad you gave this book a chance. Poison by Bridget Zinn. That's a really good book. I thought it was going to be really cheesy because it's kind of a middle grade book. It's not even really a young adult book, but yeah, so I didn't have very high expectations for it, but I read it anyway, and it just blew me away. I couldn't put it down. So seriously, go and read it, Poison by Bridget Zinn. Hidden Gem book, The Dark Queen by Susan Carroll. That's a really good book. It's a historical fiction. I don't actually own a copy, but I've bought that book for so many people because I just try to introduce it to as many people as possible. Important moment in your reading life. When I started actually going to the library instead of just the bookstore. Just finished Blind Date by Jerzy Kosinski. Okay, kinds of books you won't read? Just romance novels, I guess. Longest book you've read? Lord of the Rings, as all one book. Major book hangover because of The Hypnotist by Lars Kepler. I finished that just a little while ago and I can't really stop thinking about it. And number of bookcases you own. 0, because I just stack my books on a corner of my desk and a corner of my room. Oh, one book you have read multiple times. Lord of the Rings, because, I've read the whole thing through maybe just twice, but I've actually read parts of it several times as well. I unfortunately had a teacher in middle school who kind of turned me off to rereading books, because when we had like silent reading time in class, we would have to like actually keep some kind of weird ledger of the number of pages we read in what book and all that stuff. And so if we read the same book again, it didn't count. P. Preferred place to read. I'm not picky. I actually don't have a preferred place to read because I'll read anywhere. I'm a bass player in a band and I read during our breaks and before we're supposed to play and all that other stuff, and the people at the shows come up to me and say, "Why are you reading?" Q. Quote that inspires you / gives you all the feels from a book you've read. I actually just went with like a funny quote for this because I think about it all the time. So this quote is from Little Big, and it goes, "That the computer could make as few errors as it did impressed Smokey less than its bizarre witlessness. It couldn't distinguish, for instance, when the abbreviation ST meant street and when it meant saint, and directed to expand these abbreviations would, without a smile, produce the Seventh Saint Bar and Grill and the Church of All Streets." Reading regret. A Girl's Guide to Hunting and Fishing. I actually thought that book was going to be really good from the first chapter, but then the whole rest of the book ended up being really boring, and I actually kind of regretted even reading it. And it's not that long of a book. It only took me like a day, but it's still, I just don't even know why I wasted the time. S. Series you have started and need to finish. The Noble Dead series by Barb and J.C. Hendy. The first book is Dampier. This is actually not a completely finished series, but they do have books out that I haven't read yet. They actually come out with a new book every year, like to the day. 3 of your all-time favorite books. Lord of the Rings, The Book Thief, and Oryx and Crake. This is the weird British version of Oryx and Crake. I don't know why there's a British version when she's from Canada. Unapologetic fangirl for unicorns and anything to do with them. I actually wrote a book about unicorns, and ever since then, I've just been reading about unicorns and just collecting things that have unicorns on them. Like, I have socks with unicorns on them and t-shirts with unicorns on them and all this stuff just because of that book. So, I mean, if you're a unicorn fan too, there's a link to my book in the description somewhere. Very excited for this release more than all the others. Winter by Marissa Mayer. Worst bookish habit. Reading while people are trying to talk to me, I guess. X marks the spot. Start at the top left of your bookshelf and pick the 27th one. I got Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which I have yet to read. Shame on me. Your latest book purchase. Evolution by Stephen Baxter, which is the book that I'm reading right now that I showed you at the beginning. Z Snatcher book. It's the last book that kept you up way too late. Is Pinball by Jerzy Kosinski. This is kind of a weird book. It's about a musician who has a secret identity, and not even the record company knows who he is, and all kinds of craziness. It's really good. So that is the A to Z Bookish survey. Stay tuned for some more videos. I've got lots of awesome stuff to talk about, lots of awesome books, etc., etc. Bye!